Hello everyone, this is Lupe from Bruno Planning Co. I am going to quickly show you how I've set up my EC Teacher Planner for this school year. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I upload a video on all things planning at least once a week, so feel free to subscribe to my channel. Now this video has been a long time coming. With not knowing what school would look like this year, I couldn't really set it up until this week. We just had our first week of orientation where a sixth of our class came in just to kind of set up some online things for our remote learning that starts this Monday. If you are wondering why my EC Planner is in discs, it is because I punched the new binder pages to use with these tool discs. My first video on this channel actually is a tutorial on how to do this, so I will definitely have that linked in the description. I mainly did this because I wanted the flexibility of a binder so I can input any page that I want, and the functionality of a spiral so I can go ahead and just, flip it over and it'll work just like a spiral. And I have to say, I absolutely am loving this. I can't imagine going back to not being able to insert a page in here easily. It is so much more functional for me, and I highly recommend it because you get the great planner quality that I'll show you here in a second, and the flexibility all in one. Okay, so for context, I am a high school math teacher. I teach one course and a math lab. Math lab is usually during lunches, but since we're online learning, this year is a little bit different for me. I'm doing push into other teachers' classrooms virtually to help the students. So this planner is mainly for the course that I teach. The math lab is going to be in this EC Petite monthly planner that I will set up to write what my partner teachers are teaching. So I'll use the monthly for that. And then the notes pages I will use for notes on the students and what I need to do for those particular class periods. Okay, so in the front, I have inserted a folder that's also the tool brand, like the discs. I know that the teacher planner comes with the folder that's in the back, but I don't have that here. I like using this one a little bit better because it has kind of like a bigger folder pocket so more things can fit and won't kind of fall out. So in here, I just have some blank EC note pages that I just took out from a spiral notebook. And then what I do is I just punch them and insert them in here if I need a little bit more space to write. I have an EC notepad in which I kind of do a lot of my brain dumping. So if my to-dos are not specific for like a lesson or something that I can write in my daily duo that I have to get done that day, then it goes in here and I just kind of review it every day and just make sure I'm getting these things done. And I just have it covered for privacy. And I just took out the page. That's okay. So you'll see that a lot in this video. I'll cover a bunch of stuff just because it is, about school, and sometimes I have names and things that I don't necessarily want to share. And another thing that I keep in here are my teacher stickers from my sticker shop. So there's some meeting stickers, there's some prep stickers, and all the other ones that I offer, and I use the header stickers as well, and I've used some of those already. So I like to keep them here just to keep them handy. And then after that, you go to your cover page like normal. And then your all about me. So for this, I just kept it the same. So my name and then my information there. And then here, what I've done for classroom resources, I have a virtual classroom that I created for our teams that the kids can access, and I just went ahead and wrote down some instructions that I don't want to forget. I also wanted to quickly jot down just some of the online resources we're going to be using this year so that I can keep it straight in my head. I'm trying to limit the things that the students will have to learn this year in terms of new technology, just because I feel like last semester maybe they were bombarded with a lot of different new things because we were kind of pushed into remote learning without having time to kind of think about it like we did this summer. So I typically have 4 things that they'll need to use, maybe some other things sprinkled in, but these are the main ones. And I just wanted to make sure that I remember how I want to use them, and then so I can share it with the students as well. So here, I don't usually have this paper, but I did it again for privacy reasons, and I realized it's super thin, so I had to put another paper behind it. But right behind this paper is my bell schedule, my building contact extensions, the building floor plan because it's a pretty big school, the calendar for the year, and some student rosters as well. So that's all right behind here, and then those are a few pages. So again, the discs really help in having all of this information in one place versus having another binder or having another folder with these really important resources. And you'll see me kind of having inserted a bunch of other things as well. For example, the next one after all of these things is some COVID related information. So our school plan, our union memorandum of understanding, just really important information that I need to keep with me just in case something comes up. So that's all there. And then let me go to after that. Here, I think you had, what is it called? Events and volunteers, right? I think that was after your about me that was here. So what I did is I don't use events or volunteers really. I don't think I've ever used it. I've used the EC planners for, I think this is the 4th year. So I really wanted to make sure I changed it so I could use this page because it's a nice page to have. And I think I did this last year. I just didn't use stickers to cover things up. So I just created these stickers, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna write down some contact information if I need to call off in general, like if I wanna take a personal day, and then also COVID related things. We just received some information this week on what to do about, you know, if you have symptoms or, you know, someone in your household has, you know, symptoms and things like that. There's all different processes that you have to follow for different situations. So I want to make sure that that information is here and accessible for me. And then I also want to keep kind of track of, you know, any time off that I request or, you know, any sick days like that. So I'll write the date and then the reason for that as well. So next you would typically have the contact divider. So it would say contact right here for your communication with parents, but I have not used that, I think, ever, because I keep that all in a spreadsheet for when my evaluation comes up. I can easily send that to my evaluator so that they have record of it. And it, yeah, I don't really ever use it. I don't know if anyone does, because I feel like in teacher groups, usually we talk about how to repurpose them. So this is how I decided to repurpose it this year. So I created these stickers to cover that divider. And what I will have here is my MLOs, so my mastery learning objectives for the whole semester. And it works out great because one side will be semester 1, and then the other side will be semester 2. So one thing about this, the stickers were pretty easy to make, and I think they look pretty good. These I had to do individually because I couldn't get the measurement right, and I was kind of trying to do it quickly, so I ended up just doing individually. After I was done, I really didn't like the look of like this middle line where it divides the 2 columns. So I think for the second semester, I haven't filled it out yet. So I think what I will do is I will create a big sticker where everything's already typed out, and then it'll cover kind of the lines and this middle divider as well, just so it looks a little bit more clean. And on the bottom here, I just created this cute tracker where I keep track of our units and what target we are on and when we get done. And right here I inserted a skills list where I break down the MLOs a little bit further. So I have all of the skills they should be learning for that MLO, and then also any prior knowledge that they need to have or that we need to review for that specific target. And I think I did the first 2 units, and I'll continue to add kind of as we move along. So again, this will be second semester, and then we go to the calendar. So for the calendar, I kind of struggled to fill it out as much as I did last year because we really don't know what's going to happen. We usually have late start every Tuesday, so I would mark that down. But since we're remote learning, we're not having late starts, and our school day looks a little bit different. So I really don't know how the rest of the year is going to go. We're supposed to end remote learning on the 18th of September, so I marked that at least. But after that, I really don't know about half days and late starts and things like that. What I do know and what I did mark down was institute days, pay days, and then holidays that I know for sure we have off, like and spring break and winter break and things like that. So those things I know probably most likely won't change, and as we go through the year, I'll add more things. And then down here, I just added a little key with the EC compliment card with those things that I mentioned that I did include in my calendar. So after the calendar, you do have the year plan. And for the year plan, I know that a lot of people don't like that it starts in January because our school years don't start in January, at least in the US. So what I did is I just took some EC monthly stickers and then just covered the months to make them more semester 1 and semester 2 on the other page. So these pages are a little different for me this year. I am teaching a completely new subject. Last year, when I was teaching the same subject that I had taught before, what I did is I wrote my pacing guide from the previous year so that I can refer back to it and know when we took a test or when we took a quiz during the school year. Since I haven't taught the course that I'm teaching this year, what I did was I used these little post-its to mark down what my team had done last year when I wasn't teaching this. I will actually probably remove the post-its and just write it down in the box, but that's kind of how I plan to use these 2 pages and how I'll do it in the future. If I teach the same subject next year in my planner, I'll write down well, actually, since we're doing remote learning, it might be completely different than for next year. So I really don't know. It's kind of hard to plan and have plans then for next year as well, because we don't know how much slower things will go because we're remote learning. We also have shorter class periods. And then when we go into hybrid learning, that's a completely, if and when we go into hybrid learning, it's going to be a completely different structure and in terms of timing and pacing. So I might just keep these post-its and then try to figure it out later as we kind of go through it. I guess that's the theme of everything this year. Then after this, we have the graph papers, which I absolutely love, and I love that they're here, and it just makes me happy that they're here. I just never use them. So this year, if I want to keep these pages here, I definitely will use them. If not, I'll just take them out, but I really, really want to use them this year. And I was thinking of a couple of things that I think will really work, and I can probably do both. One I could do here, and another I can do in the other one, the other set of pages. So one thing I'm thinking about doing is writing test data. So I can write down how the kids did on the pre-test and then the post-test and see the results. I can do it for my class and for the classes that I'm pushing in. And then also I was thinking of using these for a daily to-do checklist. So I know that there are checklists in the back, which I also don't use because I don't keep grades in here. It's all online, right? And I feel like I can create a good checklist here instead of having kind of all this wasted space. So for my daily to-dos, that's mostly just like making sure that I updated the agenda for the day, making sure all of the links work in my virtual classroom for the day, making sure that the online resources are posted and scheduled for the day, especially, and just making sure that technology is good as well and nothing is crashing, because then I need to go to like plan B. So that's definitely going to be even more important this year when we're all online for the month. Okay, so then you do have these blank pages. I didn't use them this year. I don't know why. I kind of just kept the July note pages instead of using these for the beginning of the school year stuff. I don't know why. I just did. I probably should use these next year instead of the July ones. But I just went to July. And to let you know before I forget, my planner right now is from August to December. So it's only one semester, and that's because these rings or these discs are only, I think they're 1 inch. So they only fit one semester plus all of the stuff that I've inserted in there. If you want to fit both semesters, and I definitely would recommend maybe like a 2 inch or even maybe a 1.5, just so you have a little bit more space. But one semester really works for me because I don't need to carry the second blank semester with me everywhere, and it just makes it a little bit thinner. Okay, so let's go back to the July note page. And what I did here was I used this page specifically for thinking about the first week of school, and then I inserted a blank note page for more to-dos, and this is all first week, second week of school stuff. So that really kind of needed a lot of space for me to write. So I have my to-dos from the week, and then what I did was I used these productivity pages. These are from the Clipfolio, and I don't want to show it all because I know I have some kind of school related things, because I used these productivity pages for the first few Institute days where we had pretty much meetings all day, and I just wrote some important things, and I love these. If you haven't used the productivity pages during meetings, I highly recommend them. They changed how I listen to meetings and what I do after a meeting, especially on Institute days when you are kind of bombarded with a bunch of information and then you have things to do afterward that are related to the meeting. So I wrote down a bunch of notes here in the notes in the lined section, and then over here where you have kind of like these check boxes or circles, you can write down any things that you have to do based on whatever you heard. And again, that completely changed what I do after the meeting and just what I take away. So I really enjoyed those. and I think I used a couple of them. And then after all that beginning of the school year information, I have the assessments for, I think, the first 2 units. So I keep those here so that I can make sure that I have them accessible when I'm planning. Let's go to the actual planning. Now, I'm gonna warn you, I plan a lot. I probably plan more than most people, at least that I know. So if you're a big planner, wonderful. I would love to meet you. And I feel like this year I need to plan even more because I'm teaching a subject I haven't taught ever. And we're in a new situation that we haven't been in. I mean, we were in it last semester, but it was completely different than what it is now. So yeah, a lot of planning and a lot of things need to be considered. So you'll see kind of how I do it, and I'll explain and go through it. So in order to understand how I plan, I actually have to go to the month first. So let me go to the month of August. So this is where my planning starts. I go ahead and write the topic of what I think we will do that day. And this is a little bit different because this is the first week and we're doing a lot of SLO. But in September, you'll see that I have the different math topics that we're going to be talking about. I also write down if there's no school. But this is basically a rough pacing guide. And I try to do it a few weeks out, but it will definitely change. And this year, since it's a new subject, a new learning experience, it will definitely change as well. And I usually do it in pencil, but this year, and I wanted to share with you all because I absolutely love them. And I know I'm late to this party of pens, but I didn't want to use them in my planner because I'm always afraid that I will leave this in the car on a hot day, and it does really get hot here, and then everything will be gone, and then I'll have to put it in the freezer, and it's like this whole process to just get the ink back. But I am okay with that happening on kind of the draft pacing guide. It's not final. The final lessons that I do write in the planning pages, those are in regular pen that doesn't erase. And I really like using these because they're colored and I can color coordinate and use different colors. And like I said, I used pencil before, but that always got smudged, and you obviously can't color coordinate with that. And you'll see how I kind of color coordinated in my other pages as well. Okay, so I have my draft pacing guide written down, and then what I do in the notes pages, so this is August, is I go ahead and plan out my entire lesson for every single day. Every single activity, sometimes things that I want to remember to say or to remind the students of, and this also serves as a to-do list for me. So it's a lot of different things that it does. So I write down everything I'm doing that day, and like I said, I use it as to-dos as well. So I know that if I'm doing an opener, I have to make sure I create that, and once that's done, I go ahead and check it off, and then by the end I should have everything that needs to be created and uploaded checked off. Okay, so right now I already have the whole first week done, so that's there, and then I started the second week as well. Usually I can fit 2 weeks in the 2 notes pages, but I did the orientation agenda as well here, and I kind of ran out of space. But that's okay because you still get 2 more notes pages. So I usually do 2 weeks here and then 2 weeks here as well. Or sometimes they carry over, but usually I do have enough space to write down full week plans. And if I don't, I'll just use the empty note pages that I have in the front and then insert them here if I need more space. And I did want to mention that even though I use this for to-dos for school, I do also use my daily duo for school things. So what I write in here is, so I have my personal to-dos, my sticker shop to-dos, and then school to-dos. For the school to-dos, I usually have things that I've transferred over from that notepad that I showed you, or I have kind of goals for the day. So for example, for this day, I wanted to make sure I had my second week draft completed, which was all of this written down already. So that's kind of how I use my daily duo for school stuff. It's really an overview of the day and what I want to try to get done that day. So then what do I put in my lesson plan pages, right? All of my to-dos are in other places, and then I have all this written down already. So in my lesson plan pages, so this is for Monday, and I'll talk about the different layout changes that I've made, but what I like to do is I like to write down the final version of the lesson the night before or the day before. So this is just for Monday, and I won't write down Tuesday until Monday's done. Same thing for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's one of those daily to-do things that I definitely need to make sure I include in my checklist. And the reason I do it that way is because, again, I want my teacher planner to be a resource for the next year. So next year, if I do end up teaching the same subject, even with remote learning, I can still look at this and think about what I was able to get done, what activities did I do, how long did those activities do, were they good activities, did they work, were kids engaged, and that kind of stuff. So that's why I like having these pages be the final version. And this is also what I have in front of me while I'm teaching, just in case I forget maybe what's next, or I'm making sure I'm following my plan in terms of time and giving the students enough time to complete their work. And since I'm doing that, I have to make sure that my plans are updated. So I can't write Tuesday until Monday's done, because if something's not done for Monday and I know I need to get it done, then it definitely has to go to Tuesday. So I'll go back to my draft plans and just move things around and make sure that I take that into account when I'm writing my final lesson for Tuesday. Okay, and I know that that's kind of a lot, but again, I'm really trying to kind of help myself for next year. And as a teacher, I'm sure you know that plans change all of the time, and I need to make sure I know exactly what's happening that day based on what's happened before. So let's talk about the changes I've made to the lesson plan pages. So usually the lesson plan pages are horizontal, as you see here with Monday through Friday, but I've changed it to Monday through Friday going vertical because I like being able to see the entire day's plan or agenda on one side and not having to have the whole book open throughout the day. And for the days, what I did was I just used a stamp for the day. So these are stamps, they're not stickers. You can see kind of how I didn't do that one perfectly. And I usually do a few months in advance with the stamps. I feel like maybe I might make my own stickers for those for Monday through Friday, just because sometimes I'm a little impatient with stamping, and I feel like using the stickers might be just a little bit faster, but we'll see how it goes. I stamped through September, so I have a little bit of time to figure out what I want to do for that. But the Monday through Friday like this just works so much better for me, again, just to have all the lesson in one page of the planner. And remember, I do have one prep for that course that I teach. So if you have different preps, you can always use, a box for each prep or 2 boxes depending on how much you like to write down for your plans. On this leftmost column, I use that to write the MLOs for the day. And I like to keep these going horizontal because this kind of serves like a little dashboard. So I can see the days for the whole week. I can see the MLOs for the whole week. And then I can have important days in these boxes that I also need to see for the whole week. So for example, I have the open house on Thursday, and I can see that clearly just by looking at this side. And these pages will stay the same. And then this was the end of August, so I'll go to September. Same thing with the calendar, and then same thing with all of the rest of the weeks. So I'm going to go to the back so you can see what's there. It's really not too much, but I did keep, here I'll show you. So I did remove the checklist because, again, I don't use them. If I think of a way of using them this year, I will, but I already feel like I have everything else planned out how I want to use it, so I don't think I'll be using the checklist this year. But I did keep the sticker flag sheet in here because these are really pretty, and they're kind of convenient just to have there. And again, I took out the folder because I do have the other folder in the front of the planner. That's the end of the teacher planner, and that's how I will be planning on using it this school year. I feel like every year I use it more efficiently, and again with the discs I think it's even better. And if you have the binder, you'll have that same flexibility as well. And even with the spiral, you can always there's this punch board that I think I researched before I bought the binder, where you can punch individual pages and it'll fit into the spiral as well. So you can always look at that if you wanted to insert more pages into your spiral planner. So I hope you got some inspiration for your setup. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.